Hey, what's up, dudes? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Mortal Kombat video. I want to preface a few things before we get into the video. Number one, I'm a little sick. Excuse my voice. Number two, I don't think anything in this video is Ed Boon or NetherRealm's fault at all. I really don't. And we'll get into whose fault it is. And the third thing is I don't want to be wholly negative when it comes to Mortal Kombat anymore. Especially because Mortal Kombat 1 is a fun game. It's a lot of fun. It's very different. It's got some really fun characters in it. The gameplay is fun. It's not Mortal Kombat 11. So I really don't want to be wholly negative like I was when it came to MK11. But with those things being said, what just happened for Mortal Kombat 1 is absolutely horrible. If you guys did not hear, the Mortal Kombat 1 Pro Tour, the first Pro Tour of the game, I don't know how many there's going to be, was just announced. And it is a $225,000 prize pool. Now that sounds like a lot of money. It really does. And 10 years ago in the FGC, that was a whole lot of money. But since, and there are very good reasons why, that just doesn't cut it anymore. So let's get into why it doesn't. And to do that, we have to look at other fighting games and their prize pools, right? So let's talk about Street Fighter 6. It's not hard to talk about this and get it right out of the way. Street Fighter 6 has a $2 million prize pool for its World Tour. The Capcom Pro Tour is $2 million of a prize pool. The winner gets $1 million, and then $1 million is split. It's either split between the top 8 or the top 7. And that is coming off of a video game that only sold 7 million copies by the 7th year it was out. That game sold, Street Fighter V sold 7 million copies by the 7th year it was out, and then Street Fighter 6 released with a $2 million prize pool. So that's great for them. That's incredible. But it starts to add up. Let's talk about Tekken 7. Its last Pro Tour just had a reward of $100,000 or $200,000. I don't remember the exact number. That is a game that has been out for what, 9 years, 9 years at this point. And for its last Pro Tour, moving into Tekken 8, it did $100,000 to $200,000. That is insane. Then we move on to a game like Mortal Kombat 1 that is a household name. Mortal Kombat is a household name. They always go ham in the marketing. They have tons of funding because Injustice 2 sold over 10 million copies. Injustice 1 sold damn near that. MKX, by 2020, 5 years, 2020 or 2021, 5 or 6 years into the game's lifespan, a game that was obsolete by then because we had Injustice 2 and MK11 come out, that game was at 15 million copies. MK11 also sold 15 million copies, 14 or 15 million copies in the first 2 years it was out, guys. 15 million copies. So you start to look at those numbers. A game, Street Fighter V, a company that had a game that didn't do well, that nobody really liked, everybody talked shit about up until its last year being alive before Street Fighter 6. A game that did bad and only sold 7 million copies for Capcom. Capcom bounced back with Street Fighter 6, taking a risk with the new style of gameplay, and still dropped $2 million for their competitive players. Now, why is this such a problem? Why could this be a problem for Mortal Kombat 1? Well, I made a video back before Mortal Kombat 1 even came out, right after the first beta came out, and I was playing it, and I was talking about whether Mortal Kombat 1 could hold its own against Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8. And the main reason was the competitive scene. Can it hold its own in the competitive scene? Because yes, casual players, when it comes to casual players, they fund a lot of the next game, right? Like, they make the money back for NRS when it comes to NRS and WB when it comes to the cost of the previous of the game. But when it comes to the next game and everything else, of course, some of that money transfers over. There's a lot of money being made there. Games cost a lot of money to make nowadays. But the competitive scene also keeps NRS going and Mortal Kombat going. It keeps it alive. It keeps it on TVs. It keeps it on Twitch streams. The tournaments, the competitive players, they really do keep these fighting games alive for the next 2 or 3 or 4 years that the competitive fighting game is out. Now, the problem here is, for Mortal Kombat 1, there is absolutely no fucking reason that any competitive player who is comfortable switching from fighting game to fighting game should be playing Mortal Kombat 1 competitively at any fucking rate right now. Absolutely no reason. When Street Fighter 6 has a $2 million prize pool, anyone who plays Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter should be on Street Fighter. Anyone who plays Street Fighter should stay on Street Fighter. There is no reason to split your time or split your focus between Street Fighter 6 and Mortal Kombat 1 right now, because Mortal Kombat 1 is not worth it. Unless you are a player like Sonic Fox who can excel in anything that they do, and you can be insanely good at Mortal Kombat and be the top player, and then if you put enough focus into it, you can go over to Street Fighter 6 and be the top player, which he did in Dragon Ball, then there is absolutely no reason to split focus. There's absolutely no one for someone like Brian F. or Punk or any of the dudes over at Street Fighter to be like, huh, I should really come and try to be a top player on Mortal Kombat. There is absolutely no reason. There is no reason anyone who plays multiple fighting game franchises competitively should be playing Mortal Kombat 1 competitively at this point, because you should put your time, focus, and effort into a company that is going to reward you for how hard you work. And that is what Street Fighter 6 is doing. And on kind of like a pettier level, honestly, it's one of the reasons that Mortal Kombat still isn't taken serious, right? Like, Mortal Kombat X sold 15 million copies. Mortal Kombat 11 sold 15 million copies. We're coming off of that. And Mortal Kombat's already kind of a joke in, like, the elite FGC, saying, like, oh, go play a real fighting game. Play Street Fighter. Play Tekken. Play fucking Guilty Gear. Play Blaze Blue. X Tag Night Revolution. You know, play some shit like that. Play a real fighting game. And that doesn't help it. I mean, these games do so well and sell so much more than any other fighting game, and we're still sitting at a $225,000 prize pool. It sounds like it's a party game. It's like, oh, we're a rich company, so here, have a little bit of money for your top players, you know? That's ridiculous. So it doesn't help that aspect. It doesn't help that because of shit like this, Mortal Kombat is viewed in the same aspect that Smash is viewed in. And it doesn't help that the community is pretty toxic too, so we're also compared to Smash in that rate. I think it's ridiculous because competitive players, in my opinion, some people disagree with this. A lot of the more casual people who want more story mode and invasion and more single player stuff, the people who never touch online definitely disagree with this, but I really do think that what keeps a fighting game alive, and I think it's been proven with games like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Street Fighter Third Strike, games like that, Guilty Gear XRD Rev 2. It's been proven with games like that fighting games stay alive and keep their community based on the competitive scene. MKX is still a game that is played competitively. Injustice 2 is still a game that's played competitively. X-Men vs. Street Fighter is still a game that's played competitively. I mean, hell, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo is still played competitively. These games are kept alive for years and years and years based on their competitive community. And I think it's ridiculous that you can see that, and you can also be the highest selling fighting game distributor, in the world, and understand and know and realize that, and still only reward your top players, the people who help keep your game alive for years. You reward them with a $225,000 prize pool that's probably split between at least the top 5 players. That is fucking ridiculous to me. I don't think it's NetherRealm and Ed Boon. I think it's wholly WB and Discovery. And the thing is, if I remember correctly, WB by themselves actually used to pour more money into Mortal Kombat tournaments, back in like X and 11 and shit like that, and Injustice 2. But since the WB Discovery merger, Discovery has never gave a damn about esports. I hate calling it esports, but Discovery has never gave a damn about esports. And so I think since the WB Discovery merger, there's just, I don't know if there's a lack in communication, a lack in awareness, a lack in caring, but I do believe it's not even WB at this point. I think it's the Discovery side of things that's not wanting to give the funding to the game. And Mortal Kombat 1 is going to be the Mortal Kombat, the NRS game that we are playing for like the next 4 years, because they have said that this game is going to be supported even longer than MK11. And MK11 we had from 2019 to 2023. So if they do it longer or even the same amount of time, this is what we're playing. And while the competitive scene will still be kept alive, obviously, in the same fashion that MK11 was, with Destroyers tournaments, with Hot Rods tournaments, with a lot of the bigger tournaments, Slayers tournaments in the FGC, the game will still be kept alive the same way MK11 was. But I think it's ridiculous that the pro players who grind this game won't be able to support themselves playing this game. They're all gonna go to Street Fighter 6 because Street Fighter is gonna have multiple world tours for the game. I think they have 4 Capcom Pro Tours, or maybe 5 for Street Fighter 5, and all of them were good rewards. And now the first fucking Capcom Pro Tour for Street Fighter 6 is $2 million. Like I said, WB Discovery are making it to where there's no point in playing Mortal Kombat 1 competitively. If I was coming in, if I had no kids and, you know, didn't have worries that kept me from playing competitively, and if I was coming in competitively, even the same upbringing growing up with Mortal Kombat and not Street Fighter, and I saw that, hey, I would get, you know, $2 million for playing Street Fighter competitively, possibly, if I got good enough, or I would get $225,000 that split between 5 different people, probably, for Mortal Kombat 1, my ass is going to play fucking Street Fighter, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's ridiculous. I think they need to do better. I think our pro players deserve better than that, and I think it hurts the FGC overall, because all that hours of content, if the pro scene is not rewarding enough for pro players to play, then they won't play it, or at least they won't play it for that game. The competitive scene dies, and then the game dies after around 6 months, because that's when all the casual players drop off, and it just goes to the competitive nature of the game. And that would be so unfortunate for a fun game like Mortal Kombat 1. Mortal Kombat 1 is not quite as fun as MKX, but it's close. And I would hate to see NetherRealm's hard work. They listened to the community when it came to game design. They listened to the fact that we had no combo freedom. The neutral felt terrible. We wanted mix. We wanted fun, interesting characters. They listened coming out of MK11. And it would be horrible to see a game where the game devs actually listened. It would be horrible to see that game die off competitively because the WB Discovery idiots don't understand how important the FGC is and don't understand how they have to support them with them supporting them, right? With the FGC supporting them. I don't know. I think it's ridiculous. I don't know how many people subscribe to me or like competitive players or care about this, but I'm very passionate about it. I think it's ridiculous, and I think they need to do better. If you don't keep up with it, what are your thoughts from this video? How do you feel about it? If you do keep up with it, what are your thoughts? You know, let me know what you guys are thinking. Not to mention that the first event for the MK1 Pro Tour is at ETC on October 20th. They gave no time for overseas players to arrange hotel, flight, or anything to get here for the first round of the Pro Tour. They didn't give them any time. People who work a 9 to 5, who have kids and everything else, they didn't give them time to prepare for the first event. It's literally in 2 weeks. It's on like October 20th or 21st or 22nd. I don't remember which one, but it's the first 2-3 days of the 20s of October. So it's like 2 weeks away, dude. It's ridiculous. It is fucking ridiculous, dude. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. That's going to do it for me. My name is Took, and I've been your host, and I'll see you dukes next time. Peace out.